just happened to be in the neighborhood.
What is up, you guys? This is All Day Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you a build breakdown for Daredevil. So this is the build I used for my Cosmic Trials. This isn't my original farming build or anything. It's not going to be my build that I use outside of Cosmic Trials or
This
any trials.
defense isn't ready to rest
But
just
this
yet.
definitely helped me out a lot. There's a big noticeable difference when I use this build and a combo build. So let's go ahead and look at his traits. His traits in his offensive tree, he gets 15% crit hit damage automatically, and then he gets fighting and speed as his two main attributes. In his resource tree, the stamina and combo points, his primary resource is stamina. Stamina regenerates at a rate of 10% per second. Stamina constantly regenerates, and when you hit with a power, emit a radar beam that detects nearby enemies and makes the finisher or tornado kick used on those enemies deal double the damage, 4-second cooldown. Honed senses, you are able to see enemies on the minimap, and you automatically get a dodge chance of 3%. Deflect rating multiplier and dodge rating multiplier are increased by 20% automatically. Deflect and dodge rating are given a plus 600 in their base. Melee combatant, so you gain melee combatant, which gives you 8% damage reduction. And now onto your abilities. What I'm using on my abilities, I put Apprehend on L2 square, Rebounding Club on L2 triangle, Relentless Justice on X, Action Roll on L2 circle because that's my dash, Jumping Strike on L2 on square, Street Sweeper on triangle, Tornado Kick on circle, and Devil's Due, your signature, on L2X. And then my talents, I went with Knockout Punch. Jumping Strike gains the following effects: critical damage increased by 25%. You need to use that. Oh, no, I'm pretty sure I used extra torque. Well, either or, you can go with Knockout Punch, getting extra 25% crit damage, or extra torque, where Street Sweeper hits 2 additional targets. But I'm pretty sure I used extra torque. The second and the third talent tree are not going to matter what you put on here. You can put whatever, but the only problem is, since I'll just get to that later. So the fourth talent tree, I put Devil's Due. Set an example. Devil's Due damage is increased by 15%. Devil's Due applies empowered. Buff effect from empowered gives you 40% base damage increase, and it's a 5-second duration. So you can either use Set an example or Let the Devil Out. Devil's Due gains the following effects. Devil damage is increased by 100% to enemies in the center of the target area. So you basically do double damage to the enemy you hit in the middle, which is really, really good. You can use either or of these. And then for the last talent, I went with All Out Brawl. Combo points are removed. Finishers powers have an 8-second cooldown and are always treated as if you have 5 combo points. Apprehend and Sliding Strikes cooldowns are reduced by 4 seconds. Radar ping effect triggers whenever you hit an enemy every 4 seconds. It's a 4-second cooldown. Now, when you use All Out Brawl, the second and the third talent tree don't even matter anymore because they're based off of, well, this one is based off of your openers, and you're not using any openers. And then the third talent tree is based off of your finisher with the combo. You're using finishers, but you're not using combo points anymore. So so without using any combo points, this whole third tree right here is not gonna matter to you at all. I've already tested it, tried it, and nothing worked. So for my synergies, I went with Angela, giving me that +1 to speed. I went with Black Widow for the melee damage, Blade for the attack speed and the health on hit, Daredevil for the melee and the damage to normal and elites, Hawkeye for the crit damage and movement speed, um, Iron Man for the range. I don't know why I put Iron Man. I'm probably gonna switch him out for Black Panther actually. Yeah, so switch the Iron Man out for Black Panther. Magic just for her health on hit, not for the summons because you're not using any summons. Nightcrawler for the melee, the 2 melee hits. Squirrel Girl for her damage to bosses, the 4% damage to bosses, and then War Machine for his the not attribute, the what's it called, his resource, and the +1 to fighting. +1 to fighting for anyone is really good. You can either use War Machines or you can use Luke Cages, because the more durability, the better for you, for any character. So on his Infinity Points, I tried going. I so I put all my points into resources, but at first I tried stacking up as much attributes as I could. So I had 6 attribute points, and I mean, although the damage was really nice, I wasn't able to keep up my resources. And with my regular builds, I use Temporal Loophole for the higher attack speed for Daredevil. That way I can build my combo points faster. But since this is the Cosmic build or Trials build, I just went with the Deep Thought. I mean, you can use this build regardless with whatever. You can use it in your general build or Cosmic build. But yeah, I went with Deep Thought. Put all my points into Deep Thought, trying to stack up as much resources as possible, because the reason why you want as much resources is you're gonna be you're gonna need it when you use the Relentless Justice, because Relentless Justice uses 106.2 stamina per second. It's a channeling ability, but yeah, you're gonna be using that a lot. You're gonna be using that whenever your um, abilities are on cooldown. So it's kind of like the way Deadpool works with his Canadian Devil build. You would use all your cooldowns and then go straight into it, or the way my Gambit build works, how you would use all your cooldown abilities and then use your spinning staff move. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, you would use that just like that with Relentless Justice. But instead, Relentless Justice takes your stamina away, which is why you want to have a good amount of stamina. Even though stamina regenerates, you still want to have a good amount of stamina. And then for my gear, so I had some gear saved up already for Daredevil, but just don't even worry about. Ooh, my bad. So just don't even worry about the cosmic gear. Just look at the stats. So with the stats that I technically would want, I mean, the health on hit is still actually really good, and having more defense and more health is really useful. But what I'm trying to get for my Daredevil is the same way I kind of build my blade. So +5 in fighting or speed, brute damage and crit damage on the weapon and the upper body and the lower body. So +5 in fighting or speed, crit damage and brutal damage in their stats. And then in their utility and accessory, obviously you want to have 2 different affixes or whatever in the white part. So where it says 3% chance when you hit with melee to prevent all health regen to your target, or medkits cooldown is reduced by 1% or 1 second, something like that. You want to have something like those. Obviously you don't want to have the utility. My utility has, that one doesn't really matter because enemies don't really heal themselves, and they can't heal themselves in trials. So, but yeah, you want to have that +5 to speed or fighting, and either crit damage or brutal damage. And then I would say something that would help with your medkit. So 1 second off from your medkit cooldown, and your medkit regens like what, 10 or 20% more health back or something like that. Those two would be really good to have together. And then the ring, a good ring. This is a pretty decent ring. Even if you have a purple ring, you're gonna pretty much be just like this. Um, a good ring to have would be +4 to both fighting and speed, because that would be a total of 32% base damage. Um, or you can try to get a like a high crit damage one with the +4 fighting or speed, or high brutal damage. And then for my artifacts, I just went with whatever gave me attributes and higher stats. So Gem of Curse, Nefarious Mask of Doom, and Black Cat's Advanced Grappling Hook. So you can get all three of these from boss shops. You can get the Gem of Curse from Curse in the Odin's Palace. Nefarious Mask of Doom, you can get this from Castle Doom, from Killing Doom, or you
Do
can
you
get
know
this
how many
from
depositions I have to go
the
through?
Doom bots at the
Foggy will do 'em.
patrol events. And then you can get Black Cat's Advanced Grappling Hook from Black Cat in patrol. And then my relic I went with, I'm actually using Relic of Gibrim. Not this one, I have a complete Relic of Gibrim in my storage. But with my regular build, I put a Relic of Subterranea on. Um, I ended up switching to Relic of Subterranea mid-combat through my Cosmic Trials. So just because the more defense, the better. So you can either use that, you can use Relic of Asgard, or you can use Relic of Gibrim for more stamina. If you need the stamina, like if you don't have enough stamina from your infinities, then definitely go with Relic of Gibrim. That way you're able to keep spamming your ability. Um, and then my catalyst is not that great. The only good thing about my catalyst is the purple affix, the radioactive bonus. It says when you use your medkit, heal for an additional 5,000 health. And then I also do get defense rating and cooldown power damage increase. So those are all really nice. It's just that I was missing the when you use a medkit, you get 25% health back and resource. That one would have been super useful to have. And if I had a cosmic version, then a shield, where you use a shield, or when you use a medkit, you get a shield. So that right there would have also been super helpful. And then for my medallion, I went with Electra's medallion. When you use your medkit, gain stealth for 2 seconds, and your next melee power deals 10% more damage. So you would use your medkit, and then come back in and smack the enemy with a tornado kick, which that would do a lot of damage. And then for my legendary item, I went with Ultimate Nullifier. So with Ultimate Nullifier, you get brutal damage throughout the whole thing and leap cooldown leaping powers, whatever reduction. I don't really care for the rank 5 version, but the ranks 1 to 4 definitely are going to help a lot for Daredevil with the damage output. So you can either go with Ultimate Nullifier or you can go with Shield of Perseus if you really feel like you need more defensive perks, which I'm not gonna lie, Shield of Perseus sounds really good to have on Daredevil, just because of how squishy he is. But not squishy, but he definitely needs some type of survivability because he doesn't have any. Um, and then yeah, I'm gonna show you each of his abilities. So the reason why you want to have all this stamina is because for X, I don't remember what the ability was called. Relentless Justice. You're gonna hold it, and it's a channel ability. And as you can see, my stamina is going down a little. It's just bouncing back and forth because stamina regens automatically, whether you're in or out of combat. But yeah, so you would use that. So that's X. And then the only way you can use Tornado Kick is if you use either square or triangle first. So you have to use a finisher before you use your Tornado Kick. So this is square, and then this is triangle. So you definitely want to be using triangle as much as you can in your trials, because you become invulnerable while you're in this state, because they can't hit you, but also it hits multiple targets at once. So that's definitely going to help you out in the long run. So, oh, you know, I don't think oh yeah, no, it does. So I'm gonna use Tornado Kick right as soon as I finish with square. I'm gonna use Tornado Kick. And this Tornado Kick, it's automatic brutals. So that's definitely an ability you're gonna want to use as much as possible, because you're gonna be able to put out a lot of damage. And then what helps a lot also with Daredevil is when the enemies get beamed like this, use an ability and then use Tornado Kick, and then you hit really hard. You'll know when they get binged because they got these red marks on them, the red aura on them. That means they're binged from Daredevil. So this next is L2 square. It just pulls enemies in, and it's supposed to fill up your combo points, but obviously you don't have any. but it's a good ranged ability to have. Pierces through enemies. And then the next one would be L2 triangle, hits multiple targets, and it also makes enemies weak, vulnerable. So with enemies being vulnerable, you're able to put out even more damage on them. It's only 10% more, but then you have your signature L2X, hits a nice AOE around. Um, so the way I go about with my rotations for Daredevil is I'll use L2X, I'll use X until the enemies get binged, smack them with a square, and then go back into this. Triangle, whenever I need to, make the enemies weak, and then smack them, kick them again. When you know they're weak, you want to make sure you kick them. Normally you want to kick them, use the tornado kick after you use your weaken ability. So the rebounding club, whatever it's called. And yeah, that's basically it for Daredevil. Um, I mean, like this ability was, in my opinion, not necessarily last minute thought. I tested it around a lot because I failed my Cosmic Trials the first time trying to use my original build, my regular build. But I just couldn't pass it. I mean, I couldn't even get past Mandarin. I couldn't even get to Mandarin because of the fact that he with that build he has to stand there for about a couple seconds to build his combo points up. No matter how much attack speed he had, I just wasn't able to get it up quick enough. So I just preferred to use this build. That way I'm always moving because in Cosmic Trials, just a huge tip for everyone in Cosmic Trials or really any trials, you want to make sure you're always moving consistently. You're always gonna want to be moving. If you're standing there, then you have a higher chance of getting killed than you do if you're moving around. So that's why I went with this build because this is a mobile build. Um, but yeah, so that's basically it. If this video helped you at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions or anything, let me know. If you have any artifacts or medallions or whatever that you use for your Daredevil, let me know, and let me know where you get it from and what it does, so that way I can see it and other players can see it as well. Because I'm no Daredevil expert, but yeah. um, but yeah, that's basically it. So, like I said, if this helped you at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, also, and if you have any questions in general, you can always go to my Twitter at alldayanyday1, and I can answer your questions there. Um, and yeah, that's basically it. This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.